president at the border as the surge of immigrants continues.
How a rideshare led to murder. We'll tell you how to protect yourself.
And a suspect is charged in the shooting of one of LA's natives, rapper Nipsey Hussle.
From Dodge College of Film and Media Arts, this is Chapman News.
Thank you for joining us. I'm Samantha Thomas.
And I'm Kim Becker. The president is in California this afternoon, at the border between Calexico and Mexico. The surge of asylum seekers has grown to the thousands, prompting the president to threaten to shut down the border. But then he had a change of heart, giving Mexico a year's grace period. Here's what he said this morning as he was leaving the White House.
I never changed my mind at all. I may shut it down at some point, but I'd rather do tariffs. So Mexico, I have to say, has been very, very good. You know that over the last 4 days since I talked about shutting down the border. If they continue that, everything will be fine.
The president may have backed off his threat to shut down the border because of the economic consequences. Mexico is the United States' biggest trading partner. The surge of migrants seeking asylum has reached crisis proportions.
I'm awfully proud of the work the men and women are doing down here. Very vigilant in what they're doing and very dedicated to the mission. But this is tough.
Which is why President Trump was threatening to close the border between the United States and Mexico immediately. His own advisors pushed back on his idea to close the border, saying that closing the border of entry would have a catastrophic impact on the economy. 43% of all fruits and vegetables in the U.S. come from Mexico, meaning we would exhaust the supply of avocados in 2 weeks. And it's not just food. The closure could dry out the supply of car parts, beer, and clothing. In fact, more than 100,000 people cross the border every day for work.
I don't believe anybody wants to close the southern border. That is not the objective from anyone. We know the economics. We want the southern border to be strong. We also want to have it secure.
But in an abrupt reversal, Trump now says that he is giving Mexico a year. If things don't improve, he will take action.
We're going to give them a 1-year warning. And if the drugs don't stop or largely stop, we're going to put tariffs on Mexico and products, in particular cars.
Meanwhile, as the surge of refugees continues, the backup at border crossings has come to a standstill, with trucks waiting for 12 hours to cross and deliver their supplies. This all comes as the Democratic-controlled House is going after the president's tax returns again. Using a little-known part of the IRS tax code, the House demanded the president turn over the last 6 years of his tax returns. The president said he would fight the request, citing an audit underway by the IRS.
For the last 2 years, nothing leaked out from Robert Mueller's team investigating possible wrongdoing by the president. Now that's changed. According to the New York Times, some of the investigators are now saying privately that Attorney General Barr's brief summary of the lengthy report left a lot out. They say there were conclusions more damaging to the president that were not included. The Attorney General says he will release the full report later this month, and today the president again attacked Mueller, saying the report had exonerated him.
A report from Boeing on Thursday says their faulty software may be to blame for the deadly crashes of their 737 MAX jets. The plane's computer system appeared to override pilot directions based on faulty data. An Ethiopian Airlines flight crashed last month, killing all 157 people on board. Only 5 months earlier, another jet of the same model in Indonesia faced the same fate. Officials say pilots followed Boeing's standard safety procedures, but as it turns out, the devastating crash was beyond their control. Boeing is planning to release an updated software with increased pilot training.
We at Boeing are sorry for the lives lost in the recent 737 MAX accidents. These tragedies continue to weigh heavily on our hearts and minds, and we extend our sympathies to the loved ones of the passengers and crew on board Lion Air Flight 610 and Ethiopian Airlines Flight 302.
Screaming fans and a media frenzy as Lori Loughlin arrives to her court hearing on Wednesday.
Lori, pay for my tuition, Lori!
Actress Lori Loughlin and Felicity Huffman appeared in court, along with Loughlin's husband, Massimo Gianelli. All three were released on bail, Prosecutors say they will ask for jail time for all involved. Laughlin and Huffman facing 6 to 21 months in prison if convicted, or if they plead guilty. Many are expected to reach a plea deal by mid-April.
4 women were arrested on Tuesday for operating a prostitution ring right here in Orange County. The company they ran, called Companions Escorts, was based out of Santa Ana and Palm Springs and had approximately 50 women that were committing prostitution. The 4 women are being charged with 4 counts of pimping and pandering. They face up to 12 years in prison.
Last week's death of a University of South Carolina student after she got into the car she believed was her Uber highlights potential dangers of riding alone. Rebecca Glazer looks into how you can be safe when ride sharing.
It's become routine. You get out of a party or a bar and call an Uber or Lyft. But for one college student, catching a ride came with deadly consequences. University of South Carolina student Samantha Josephson did what many people do after a night out on March 29th. She pulled out her phone to call an Uber. This chilling security footage shows Josephson getting into a car outside of a bar. But it's not her Uber.
No light. That's creepy.
She was found dead by hunters the next morning. Police say she was killed by the man who picked her up. At a vigil, her father encouraged students to travel in pairs.
Samantha was by herself. She had absolutely no chance. None. The door was locked. The child safety lock was on. She had absolutely no chance in this. If there's somebody else in the car, there's actually a chance.
For some college students, creepy or unsettling experiences with rideshare drivers are nothing new.
The guy just wouldn't let me out at one point in time, and so I asked him if I could stop my ride, and he said no, multiple times, and it ended up me having to call someone and saying hey, I'm in an Uber, here's my location, for him to pull over and let me out.
And many have devised plans to prevent a ride home from going awry.
I'll usually either be on the phone with someone as well as keeping track of the route on my phone, or at least texting someone. It makes me a little bit nervous, and me and my friends too, we've talked a bit about it. My mom called me and she was like, I'm just thinking about you because I know you've taken rides by yourself, so it's a little bit scary, but it makes us think more.
So what should students do to keep themselves safe? Ride-sharing services like Uber and Lyft have installed flashing beacons. Riders can choose the color they glow to help prevent passengers from climbing into the car of someone they don't know. Some students use apps to ensure that family members are just a phone call away.
With an app like Find My Friends, a lot of people in my family will have my location so they'll know where I am. Typically I'll text a friend if I'm taking an Uber late at night or early in the morning. Other than that, just hopeful that everything's going to be fine.
In a statement, Uber promised to increase security measures. For Chapman News, I'm Rebecca Glazer.
Implementing the buddy system or using Chapman's Safe Ride cars can help you avoid a dangerous encounter when going out with friends. Murder charges have been brought to this rapper's accused killer, who the shooter was, and the legacy Nipsey Hussle has left behind.
What a woman says gave her herpes at this makeup store. How the industry giant settles this case.
Earthquake that shook things up this week in Orange County. Hey guys, how are you today?
Good.
I'm here to talk about how with technology you can make amazing worlds. Come with me. My team and I groomed the Halo world to life.
Is that you?
That is me. I wasn't a math genius and I knew nothing about coding. But you guys do. You guys have the power to change things.
I want your job.
I want you to have my job.
Former Vice President Joe Biden responded via Twitter to allegations made by Nevada Democrat Lucy Flores and 6 other women regarding inappropriate touching. Flores detailed that during a 2014 campaign rally, Biden had made uncomfortable advances that left her feeling uneasy.
If he is saying that he never believed that that was inappropriate, then frankly, I think that's a little bit of a disconnect and not being aware.
With Biden expected to announce whether he will enter the race for president in April, the country awaits to see how these allegations may affect his decision. Biden has since responded to the allegations. Take a look.
Folks, in the coming month, I expect to be talking to you about a whole lot of issues, and I'll always be direct with you. But today I want to talk about gestures of support and encouragement that I've made to women and some men and have made them uncomfortable. It's the way I've always been. It's the way I've tried to show I care about them and I'm listening. You know, social norms have begun to change, they've shifted, and the boundaries of protecting personal space have been reset, and I get it.
29-year-old Eric Holder has been charged with the murder of Grammy-nominated rapper Nipsey Hussle, 2 accounts of attempted murder and 1 count of possession of a firearm by a felon. Hussle was shot and killed in Hyde Park on Sunday in front of his clothing store, where a large memorial has been set up. The LAPD says Holder's motive may have been a personal matter, but police haven't said more on the relationship between the two. Holder pled not guilty, and his bond is $5 million. He will be back in court on May 5th, and if convicted, Holder may receive a life sentence.
Gas prices are on the rise, increasing almost 10 cents this week alone. President Trump pulling out of the 2015 Iran nuclear deal limiting oil exports, the current climate in Venezuela, where much of our oil comes from, and the expensive gas blend are all factors of the rise. You can increase your fuel efficiency by checking your tire pressure, driving at a more even speed, and carpooling as much as possible.
Well, I don't know about you, Kim, but I did not wake up for the earthquake on Wednesday.
I did. It woke me up 5 a.m. I thought the doors were just slamming in my house. You're a tough sleeper.
I must be. Well, we have Olivia Young in the Weather Center here to tell us more. Olivia?
Thanks, Sam. Now, I didn't feel it, but nearly 2,000 residents in Orange and Riverside counties did. At a magnitude of 3.6, the light quaking woke many up Wednesday morning at 5 a.m. when it hit just 5 miles southeast of Yorba Linda. Now, no damage was reported, but the OC Sheriff's deputies did receive a few calls about house alarms going off. Now, moving into the weekend, hopefully no earthquakes, but we can expect some cloud cover. It's 65 degrees and cloudy right now in Orange, so that is not the sunshine that we were seeing last week, unfortunately. But as for the rest of Orange County, we have a little warmer up in Westminster with a high of 70, 66 in Newport Beach, Irvine, and Laguna, and a little cooler down in San Clemente with a high of 63. As for the rest of SoCal, we have a high of 65 in Santa Barbara, about the same down through San Diego, and a little cooler out on Catalina Island with a high of 63, a lot cooler up in Big Bear as usual with a high of 52, and nice and warm in Palm Springs with a high of 79. Coming back to Orange, we have a nice and warm but cloudy 5-day. Like I said, cloudy today, high of 68 today and tomorrow. Things are warming up a little bit on Sunday with a high of 79, and on Monday we have a high of 84, but it will be cloudy. Tuesday, high of 78 and partly cloudy. That's all I have for you today. I'm Olivia Young. Back to you guys at the desk.
More cases of measles, a highly contagious disease, have been reported in the past 3 months than all of last year. A few states have mostly contributed to this year's growing numbers, including New York, California, and Washington. The reemergence of the disease resulted in Rockland County, New York, declaring a state of emergency. The 30-day order barred minors who are unvaccinated against measles from public spaces. Health officials say that growing poverty and the anti-vaccination movement are hugely responsible for the resurgence of measles in the country.
Makeup giant Sephora has reached a settlement with a woman who says she contracted herpes from a lipstick sample at its Hollywood store. Glendale resident Elena DeVoyan filed a lawsuit against Sephora in 2015. Sephora released a statement shortly after the lawsuit was filed. The health and safety of our clients is our foremost priority, the statement read. We take product hygiene very seriously, and we are dedicated to following best practices in our stores.
Coming up on the Best Campus Sports Show, this week's edition of Athlete of the Week.
From one generation to the next, find out how Chapman students are making a difference in their community.
I adopted Bento in 2010 from a shelter. As it turns out, we have very similar personalities, and this cat makes me make art. because he's always motivating me to take pictures of him, to draw pictures of him. He just is motivating artistically. It's just that simple. Well, he's my best friend, but a lot of people know him as Keyboard Cat.
What's up, everyone? I'm Brad Benson, and welcome to the Best Campus Sports Show. Earlier this week, the Alliance of American Football suspended all football operations just 8 weeks into their inaugural season. League co-founder Bill Polian said in an interview with ESPN that they did not have the infrastructure to support the business side of things, despite the football side of things going pretty well. The man who made the decision to suspend football operations is chairman of the Alliance, Tom Dundon. He invested $250 million into the Alliance after the league couldn't make payroll following week 1 of the season. In the end, Dundon is going to be losing about $70 million. All players that were a part of the AAF are now free to sign with NFL teams. Something else coming to an end, that is the college basketball season. The Final Four takes place this weekend at US Bank Stadium in Minneapolis. Tomorrow, Virginia and Auburn play at 3 p.m. and Texas Tech and Michigan State will play following the conclusion of the first game. The winners of the 2 games will play on Monday night on CBS. There were millions of brackets that were created this year, and only 0.2% of brackets remain correctly predicted the Final Four. Auburn had a lot to do with that by knocking out both a number 1 and number 2 seed. Speaking of highly ranked teams, the Chapman baseball team is currently ranked 9th in the nation. They are riding a 7-game win streak thanks to the help of their high-powered offense. Last week, however, there was one player that stood above the rest. Joe Jimenez hit for .667 with an OPS of 2,111, which earned him Athlete of the Week honors. Joe Jimenez is a catcher on the baseball team, and I caught in high school, so I thought it'd be a little fun if we had some throwdowns to second. You ready?
Yep.
Let's go. You guys are currently on a 7-game winning streak, and you're ranked number 9 in the nation. What's the ceiling for this team?
I mean, I think that's hard to say. I really do. Obviously right now, we want to take things game by game. Really just working to get ourselves into the conference tournament. Doing that, trying to win the conference tournament, taking us to another regional, and then after that, just see where we can go from there.
Does being a catcher give you any sort of advantage as a hitter, knowing what the pitcher's going to be trying to come at you with?
It's funny. Guys ask me that all the time. I actually think it puts me at a disadvantage. I really do. I think catching, yeah, it's one of the most physically demanding positions on the field. So, I mean, I think last year I really struggled at the plate, and part of that was fatigue. So. Right now, this year, just really been focusing in on hitting, just getting the right mindset when I come up to the plate has been the biggest thing for me.
Oh, look at that! Yeah, that was pretty.
Well, I haven't played in 2 years, but I think my arm's still looking pretty good. But Joe's the one here playing college baseball, and I'm not, so good luck on the rest of the season, man.
Thanks, Brad.
All right, for Brad Benson and Joe Jimenez, this has been another edition of Athlete of the Week. The baseball team plays today at 3 p.m. at Whittier College, and then they'll host Whittier tomorrow at Hart Park for a doubleheader starting at 11 a.m. You know, I was pretty proud of that throw for the Athlete of the Week until I saw Oakland Athletics center fielder Ramon Laureano throw out Xander Bogaerts twice this week. Take a look at this 2-for-1 highlight of the week.
There's
a shot to center, and that's a base hit. They're going to wave in Bogarts. Here's Laureano's throw. It's a good one, and he is out. Oh, my. Okay.
Well, we've seen the athleticism on display very early from the laser, and the laser comes up firing a shot.
Hit pretty well. Right center. Laureano at the wall. It's off the top of the wall. Rolls towards center field. Bogart's going to try for 30. Hesitated briefly. The throw is there. Got it.
Oh, my. Oh, my. And Chapman, see where his left foot was.
Well, that's the latest in sports this week. Let's see what Mallory has for us today in entertainment.
What broke the internet this week? I'll have that and more in your entertainment report. Yes.
Four-legged homie, and then wham bam minivan. Some people pity me. Now that's lame. I still run, fetch, and swim. And the ladies love me. I'm the ultimate wingman. Just don't ask me to high five.
Hey Bobo, do trees tell each other stories?
I'm sorry, I'm afraid I don't know that.
Hey, why don't we go find out? Listen.
Can birds draw pictures?
I don't have an answer for that.
Dad, do stars visit their friends?
Look!
Hey guys, Mallory Sullivan here to give you the latest news in entertainment this week. The music world has been mourning the death of rapper Nipsey Hussle, but vows to carry on his legacy. Hussle was both an artist and social activist, and he had been working on a documentary highlighting an unsung doctor fighting HIV and AIDS. Fellow rapper Nick Cannon has promised to finish the project in an Instagram post. While performing in London on Monday night, big-time rapper Drake took a moment to say this.
I really want to do this shot for Nip tonight. And I just want everybody just to look around and be grateful and happy that we're all here together, alive and well, because life can end at any moment. And I just want to say I love you. I'm thankful to be here with you tonight.
Other hip-hop artists like Kendrick Lamar and Cardi B also took to social media to pay tribute to Hussle. And something else has also got singers coming together. Singer Sam Smith has been open about his struggles with body image, but posted a shirtless Instagram picture embracing his bloat. Chrissy Teigen is also friends with her body, addressing in a series of tweets that she's the heaviest she's ever been, but doesn't care because she loves food way too much. Celebrities embracing their real, natural bodies? What dimension am I in? Maybe I'm in the Twilight Zone. Get it? Alright, whatever. This classic sci-fi TV show has been rebooted and taken over by director Jordan Peele. The reboot puts a modern spin on Rod Serling's legendary series, causing mixed reviews. Some viewers prefer the original, while others commend the new spin on the cult classic. You can decide for yourself when new episodes premiere on CBS All Access starting on April 11th. And on the 26th, Marvel's last Avengers movie hits theaters. The film has already broken records and the internet, shutting down ticket-selling websites and sending fans into an absolute frenzy. Endgame has the biggest pre-sale and the most online sales in the first 24 hours for the ticket-selling site Fandango in the last 19 years. AMC theaters have taken the hint and prepared a 59-hour Marvel marathon to show all 22 films before the early premiere of Endgame. Basically, don't mess with Marvel fans because they are not messing around. The Stones tour is finally back on. Lead singer Mick Jagger successfully underwent a heart valve procedure. He'll be resting up for the next week, and the tour will pick up in July. Well, I'm gonna roll on out of here. Back to you guys at the desk.
Sending a text message is second nature for students at Chapman, but for many senior citizens, it's a whole new language.
A Chapman Jr. set out to change that and bridge the gap between generations. We have Chapman News reporter Natalie Rawson here to tell us more.
So every Friday, the Orange Senior Center turns into a classroom thanks to Chapman Tech Tutors, a program that provides tech support to elders in the community. I sat down with founder Jacob Pace to learn more. Take a look.
Sit one-on-one with senior citizens and teach them how to use their tech devices such as iPhones, iPads, PCs, anything really.
Now on its second year, Chapman Tech Tutors continues to improve the lives of seniors in Orange, but it actually got its start back in 2015.
I was sitting around with some of my high school friends, and one of my friends said that her grandfather was having trouble with his iPhone, and I said, well, what if we took some high school kids to the senior center and pair them up with senior citizens so they can teach them how to use their tech devices, and we can get community service hours too for it.
As a high school junior, Pace launched Tech Tutors at the local senior center in his hometown, Laguna Niguel. He then brought the program with him to Chapman as he entered his sophomore year. Many seniors, like Joe Nicholas, feel that understanding how to use a phone is now a necessity to stay connected.
Our messaging, I mean, it's real important for us. Most of us are all grandparents, you know, we want to keep in touch with our families.
And the seniors aren't the only ones learning something.
Being a part of the program has really opened up my eyes to previous generations. I think we take for granted how easy it is for us to utilize technology and to use it to our advantage for social interactions, for academic interactions, everything. It really puts into perspective how difficult it is for senior citizens in particular to even send a text message. So it has shown me how easy it is for me to teach someone something that is so simple for me but has such a profound effect on them.
That is so great. Natalie, how can people get involved with this?
Well, Tech Tutors is happening today at 1:30 as well as every Friday. And if you're interested, you can contact Jacob Pace via email or at chapmantechtutors.com.
Well, Tuesday is an exciting day for frugal dessert fans. They have a shot at a free bundt cake. On April 9th, Nothing Bundt Cakes will be celebrating its 300th store opening by giving away 300 cakes at 3 p.m. The catch? You only have 300 seconds to take advantage of the deal. Nothing Bundt Cakes. 300 seconds.
Wow, I don't know about you,
minutes.
Kim, but I take that as a challenge. Let's see how many bundt cakes I can eat in 300 seconds. Don't miss an episode of Chapman News. Follow our YouTube channel at chapmannews.tv and social media accounts at Chapman News. I'm Samantha Thomas.
And I'm Kim Becker. Have a wonderful afternoon, everybody.